you know, the absolute worst sales pitch in the world is that my product does everything, and but that's what sleep is, right? Like everything you want to get better at, it's dependent upon how well you sleep, which is a terrible pitch. And that's why I have to do all sorts of circles to get people to believe me about this stuff. But basically, there's nothing, no aspiration that you have, no future that you want is going to come to you with poor sleep. And if it does, it's going to take longer and be harder and not as good and all that other stuff. You're born into a contract, on this planet that, one, you're going to die, nobody gets out of this alive, and two, it takes 8 hours to recover from being awake for 16 hours. And people don't want to hear that. I do private consulting with high-end executives, entrepreneurs, all this type of stuff. And they're go-getter people. And I can say, I want you to eat nothing but kale. And they'll say, okay, and eat nothing but kale. I want you to do 2 hours of exercise every day. Okay. And I want you to meditate for an hour a day. And like, okay. And I say, you need to sleep 8 hours a day. And they're like, whoa, I can't, I don't have time for that.
That's where I draw the line, Doc.
Yeah. Like, I don't, like, that's for weak people. I don't need that much.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem is that our subjective experience of our lack of sleep is terrible. So it's like getting drunk, when you take somebody who's sleep adapted and you take 6 hours of sleep away from them and you test them on something, like even something that's their proficiency, and you say, how do you think you did? And they say, I did worse. And like, yeah, you did do worse. And here's the evidence. And it doesn't matter what it is: strength, speed, endurance, cognition, problem solving, creativity. It doesn't matter. You'll do worse, and you'll know you did worse. And then day 2, you give them 6 hours and they'll say the same thing. Day 3, maybe they say the same thing. But by day 4, 100% of people will say, I've completely adapted to the 6 hours of sleep and I'm doing as well as I've ever done. And you show them the data, you go, that curve's still going down, man. You're still getting worse. And they don't believe you. They won't believe you. And they'll argue with the researchers. So, we can get way into the weeds, but, sort of the 30,000 foot view is that the whole reason that I'm going to sleep tonight is to repair everything that I do to myself today and to prepare my body for tomorrow. My brain and my body are going to use today as a template to figure out what I need to be better at tomorrow. Right. And if I could go to sleep tonight and I could repair 100% and I could prepare 100%, meaning like all my cells have all the nutrients stored that they need, right? I've flushed out all the waste products. I've gotten everything balanced, right? And like you mentioned, we'll talk later about wake promoting neurotransmitters and appetite regulation and all that type of stuff. But all my hormones are in order. Everything's in order. And if I could do that 100%, I would wake up the same every day, which means I would never age, right? I would be exactly the same every day. Now that doesn't happen when we're young. It happens when we're young, like you wake up better, right? When you're adolescent, kid, adolescent, teenager, like you wake up better, stronger, smarter, taller, faster.
Taller, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so you're actually getting better. And then about 25, that kind of plateaus till about 35-ish. And then it really starts kind of going the other way. And, so if you choose to sleep 6 hours instead of 8 hours, you're choosing to age 25% faster. And that's just the way it is. There's no way to argue that. Like
the 25% is coming from the 2 hours less.
Yeah, two out of 8, right? So you're reducing your recovery by 25%. You're aging 25% faster. And we can talk about how the hormones change and why that's probably worse than 25%. But it's at least aging 25% faster. So to your point, like how does it affect performance? Well, as most people know, when you work out, say like, if, let's say something simple to do is like weightlifting. So when you lift weights, what's the goal? To increase your muscle strength, at least maintain your muscle strength, muscle mass. Muscle mass is the primary predictor of how long you're going to live and how disease-free you'll be. So when I go to the gym and I work out and I lift weights, the whole idea is to lift more weights faster than I can lift those weights, right? So I do as much work as I possibly can. And if I've done my job well, I'm weaker, right? I come out of the gym weaker. I should, right? And so when do I get stronger? Why don't I just get weaker every day? Well, it's only when I go to sleep do I get stronger. So when I go to sleep and I go through the deep sleep stages, and if you want to talk in detail, we can go through the stages one by one and what's happening in that. But when you go through the deep sleep, that's when all my hormones are being regulated. And it's the most anabolic time of my life. It's when my stress hormones are the lowest. The lowest my stress hormones will ever be in any 24-hour period is during my first sleep cycle, because that's 90% deep sleep. And during that time, my body's going to start repairing. It's going to fight off infections. It's going to fight off parasites and fight, it's antimicrobial time, but also like, overused tendons, overused ligaments. If I've injured myself, any of that stuff, that's all going to be fixed during anabolic activity, which is deep sleep. That's the most anabolic I will ever be. And so my muscle and my brain combined with all their signaling, they're going to tell each other, hey, what we did today was lift too much weight. Like we overstressed these muscles. And if you work out hard enough, you can actually rupture muscle cells. And then my body's going to build that muscle back so that it's stronger, so it's thicker and it's able to do that weight. And so the next time I do that same amount of weight, that same amount of speed, it should be easier for my body to do and cause less damage. Because, there's nothing in us to like put on muscle and look like bodybuilders look good on stage, right? Like they're like, we're not designed for that. What we're designed to is to adapt to our,
it's expensive to do that.
We're designed to adapt to our environment so that we can handle our environment better. And so if we're doing endurance activity, that's what our muscles are going to, prepare ourselves for. If we're lifting weights, that's what it's going to do. And your muscles will get a little bigger, but only to the extent they need to progress, to manage that load that you're doing today. Your muscles are going to try to be prepared better to do that tomorrow, and you can get progressively stronger that way. And the same thing with endurance activity, you can get progressively faster that way. But if all you do is sit on your butt and watch television, what does your brain and body have to repair to, right? If you really tax your mind, your mind uses up your brain uses up 25% of your energy sources, 25% of your glucose, 25% of your oxygen, and 25% of the body's ATP in this one little section of our body. So if you're really taxing your brain, well, then when you're in REM sleep, deep sleep flushes out waste products and replenishes nutrients. But REM sleep is where actually you start connecting all of the pathways that everything that you've heard today, everything that you've learned today, everything you've thought about today, whether you know it or not, you're going to rehearse during REM sleep. And it's happening so fast. It's not like you would have any conscious recollection of it, but it's happening so fast. You're going to rehearse everything, and your brain and your body are going to determine, do we want to hold on to that information or not? If not, we're going to prune that new little budding that was coming off of that neuron to maybe make a new connection. But if we like it, we're going to make sure that connection's made. And then the more connections you make to that piece of information, all the different angles you can come at it, now you actually know that information and you can work with it creatively. You can come at it from different angles than you learned it because you've attached it to other things. So that's a really short version of how it enhances performance. But the other side of that coin is, if you don't sleep well, you're decreasing the extent that happens. Like you don't do it 100% or 0%, but it's adjusted by how well you're sleeping and how long you're sleeping, especially the brain stuff, because when you wake up early is when you're primarily taking REM away from yourself. When you go to bed super late, you're more likely to decrease deep sleep and REM sleep. But if you go to bed at a reasonable time every night, but then you're getting up at 4 a.m. because Jocko said to, then you're losing that. If you're only getting 6 hours of sleep, well, you're primarily losing REM sleep, and that's affecting your cognition, which is also your emotions and problem solving.
I would say your mental health as well, like your anxiety,
Absolutely.
your propensity to be able to emotionally regulate is going to be attenuated as well. If you're chronically, I don't know how Jocko does it, but I definitely need my 8, sometimes 9, depending on, we can talk about menstrual cycles, but certain times of my cycle, I actually need to sleep more than other times. But I definitely
Jocko sleeps about 7.5 hours. He goes to bed like 8:30.
Okay. So, all right. So he's redeemed himself. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but there are some people that can get, they can get away with sleep deprivation a little better than others. Like nobody's optimal with a little bit of sleep deprivation, but some people just suffer less. Like it makes sense with anything, right? Some people suffer less running a mile than other people. Some people suffer less lifting weights, whatever. So there's variations between humans. But as far as like that short sleeper gene that people always talk about, super sleepers, that's been completely misrepresented in the press is that there are people who only need this much sleep. Like, no, they just don't suffer as much as the rest of us. If you gave them 8 hours, if they got 8 hours sleep, they'd still perform better, but they just don't suffer as much as most of us if they're doing 6 every night.